I'm watching jobs numbers, and I got CNBC up. I don't know why it keeps asking me for this. I'm live now. I am live. I got to turn on Do Not Disturb. And we're listening to Rick Santelli scream and yell. That's what we're doing. No, home. Gonna turn that on. I'm gonna turn it off. We had a nice big pop with the jobs report. Nice big pop with the jobs report. Close. I'm gonna pull up my chat doc. Chat. There we go. Oh, I guess it's blank because nobody's chatting. Hit that thumbs up button. I want to turn the speaker up a little bit so I can hear. I just don't want it blaring in everybody's ear. So, if you're going to watch what we're going to do, jobs report looks like it was still historically good, but the stock market thinks that the market was beaten up too much, so we should have an update today. Again, yesterday was just, you're getting killed in the market if you're in it. But the plan is today to take all of the, and this is what I'm going to do Fridays for this year, is we're going to take all of the scans that we did and just go over them, just to take a look at how'd they do this week, how'd they cross up. We had Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and so what's that, 6 candles? You should be able to see 6 candles, what's working, what's not. And a couple of news stories too. But that'll be kind of where we're going. I'm going to do my scans now too. Let me just make sure that Active Trader Pro is working. There we go. You know what? Let's bring up our favorite chart on Active Trader Pro for the last couple of weeks. Boyle. Let's see what Boyle's doing today. Boyle still hasn't gotten. It still has no confirmation. Oof. It's at 11:37 in pre-market. More than my favorite greenskeeper. Still love that. I ran into him in a bar one time. He owns a bar and restaurant at the Golf Hall of Fame, World Golf Village Hall of Fame, down in St. Augustine, Florida, where I used to live. And him and his brothers own this restaurant, and I was down there, and he was in there holding court at the bar, telling jokes. Seemed like a nice guy. You never can tell with celebrities because I think it was Scarlett Johansson or Jennifer Lawrence once said, you can be as a celebrity, and knowing a couple of B and C list celebrities, I can totally see this. You could be a celebrity and be nice 99.9% of the time, but there's that 0.01% of the time where you're a dick or you're just in a bad mood. And I don't even want to say a dick. Say you're fighting with your girlfriend or boyfriend, and we've all been there, where you have to go to a family function and you don't want to go, and you just, kind of not right. So those are the times when the celebrities get bad. I used to be a very good golfer. I used to shoot in the 70s, low 80s pretty regularly. Morning, Dawson. I just don't play. And so now I'm pretty much regularly over 100. If I focused on it, I could probably get back to, I'd say, mid 80s. As you get older, your swing just isn't the same, and it hurts. But the most violent, I continue to say the most violent thing outside of physical violence, but the most violent thing in sports is that golf swing. Because when you think about it, just the turn in your hips and your spine and your body, and it's a crazy, crazy violent thing. KOLD's your play. I'm just honest to God. I still think KOLD has some movement in it, but you're at 38. I mean, you're up another 10% today. Yeah. James, I was obsessed with it for a while. I think it was 2000 in high school. Let's see. In high school, I was on a golf team where 4 of the 6 players went on to play in the PGA. The only 2 players who didn't play in the PGA were me and my brother. We grew our hair long, took drugs, and played in a rock band. So I have that going for me. But so I was good in high school, and we'd play 9-hole tournaments in high school. I think the state tournaments and the national championships were for high school were 18 holes that I played in. And I'd shoot 78, 81. It was nothing like extraordinary, but I was, I think, the 6th player. And then I went to I skipped 4 years between high school and college, and I didn't play much then. Didn't play much when I got to college. I walked on to the tryouts. I got into the college team at Lycoming, but never really played. No, they are not still playing in the PGA. I think the most successful, my coach in high school, I think he's still teaching down at Pinehurst. He wound up getting a job after he was a teacher, a choir teacher, and he wound up getting a job at Pinehurst teaching as a PGA professional. But he never played on the tour. He was just a teaching professional. But I think the 2 that I played with who were most successful were Nick Cifelli and Rob Calamari. I think Nick Cifelli was incredible. The kid, a shorter man, I think 5'2", 5'4", somewhere around there. But the fucker could bomb it. And when I tell you that swing was just rock solid. Every swing was exactly the same. Rob was just a bomber. Rob would bomb out all of us. I mean, he'd take out his driver, and you'd see it fly across the ground for 10 feet above the ground. Then it'd do that nice rise. And he could hook it. He could, I was a Lee Trevino kind of player in high school where I pretty much just played the fade, got the same swing. Old lady kind of golf where it was under control. Didn't necessarily want to make birdies, but made a lot of pars. Out in the middle of the fairway, onto the green, 2-putt. But yeah. There's a different level when you get to even the state championships. I could see there was a different level of player, and I knew I wasn't going to be anything of the sort. So KOLD's your play. You know what else I've been here? We'll get back to stocks here. I am putting this down here. I'm looking at. Okay, so in the daily stock picks core portfolio, Bank of America is down, MPLX is down, Palo Alto Networks is down, Tesla is down. Tesla's going to be down big. UNH is down, and I got to talk about UNH. I did not. I think it was myself and Larry. I think Larry was the other one, or maybe it was Dawson. Somebody else was going to go in on this one with me. I put it in at 487. It didn't hit yesterday at 487. It is at 488 in the pre-market right now. Let's kind of go over here. I'm going to move you back to Safari. 488 in the pre-market. It was the jobs number, James. Jobs report showed historically still a pretty strong job market, but wage growth was. So how do I explain this? Essentially, my understandings of the economics of the situation is there's two things that jobs report really does is, okay, how many people are employed, how many are unemployed, how many are newly unemployed, how many are continuing unemployed, and then wages. And over the past couple of years, what you've seen is wages continue to rise, which is the stickiest part of inflation. As you get to this year, remember, last year's the base of most of these because they're backward looking, only very short term. They don't look long term. But if you had a 12%, just for shits and giggles, last year, I think it was like average was about 8-9%. But if you had a 12% increase in the average wage month, from the previous year, then today's number is going to be based against that number. If that number slows, the market likes it because, again, inflation kind of slows. So I think the numbers from last year are providing a look that things are slowing down. And, think about it this way. The cost of a movie ticket, and economists have explained it like this to me, and these are professional economists. Remember, I went on a cruise with a World Bank economist who I still geek out on. Just the guy's phenomenal. But it was explained to me like this by economists. You have a movie ticket, and I think in the 70s you could go to the movies for about $1. Then in the 80s, it went up to like $3 and $4. That was inflation. The movie ticket never went back down to $1 because the value of the dollar never really goes down per se in the quote unquote economy. Today, 80s to today, that movie ticket's like $12 in some places. You can argue that the movie theaters in the 70s and 80s were just a seat. Now you've got some luxury seating. You've got luxury sound quality, screens, blah, blah, blah. You could argue all that, but the reality of a movie ticket is you can't sell it for $1. If you sell it for $1, it's at one of those, you'll get shot at that movie theater. But yeah, and XLY, consumer discretionary, is down. I'm gonna take a look at some of these things. Let's look at is Costco moving up? Costco had positive sales just because it's fucking Christmas. I mean, let's be honest. It went up to $4.60. Yeah, it's trading at $4.62, Costco is. May have missed that one. Maybe not. Maybe. I have it on my notes. December sales. The other one that I've noticed, by the way, is... which one am I on? Okay. Look at this. This is the one I've been watching. Roblox, RBLX. Let's look at... It is up in pre-market, I believe. It's over 30. Pan W, I own a bunch. I'm down on it. Let me see. Pan W, where am I? Where am I? There I am. I'm way down on Pan W. It's in my retirement account, so I'm definitely dollar cost averaging this one, because I am there. There ain't no way the difference between PanW and Zscaler, and I think Fortinet, is Fortinet is the only one that's making money. We'll look at that in a little bit. Hold on, let me just look at. I am down total 15%. My average price is $159 on PanW. So, yeah. So Tesla, what does my notes say? Tesla, they cut their prices in China, which is the biggest discount they've ever done, based on a slowdown in demand. I have no doubt in my mind that one's going down 85 now. So, that's where I think we're at with that one. Let me see. I gotta clear out some of this stuff. Podcast. We want to move to trash. We're gonna open this up. By the way, I'm getting ads on my podcast again, which is nice. It gets me money. Here, you want to see something that disturbed me? Let me open this up. I'm going to send this to Gary's iMac. Okay. I might show you a profile of an Instagram that I came across because she ran an ad. She ran an ad on my Instagram page. Dr. Stacy Nash, Naschke. I checked out her ebook. Not impressed, but she's got fucking 59,000 followers. Who the F is following this woman? And she, every video that I saw, hey traders. You know, I haven't figured out her gig yet. But, and those look like boobs on that kid, but they don't. I don't understand what content she's providing. I checked out her ebook. Her ebook is free. It's got some guidance there. That's not horrible. It's just kind of basic information. But she ran an ad. I was shocked. 59,000 followers. I'm not shorting Tesla, although I will tell you the TSLQ, and I think you have the TSL L that you like, but it's got the confirmation. I mean, look at this. You've run from 59 to 87 in the algorithm. It's new, so I don't really have a good 200-day, good 50-day. You do have a good 9 and 21. It just hasn't developed a lot of historical patterns, so you can tell, hey, it's good. But look at it since it's launched. It's crazy. TSLI. Let's see. It's probably about the same thing. This one's even gappier. This one hasn't done as well. But you got the MACD cross down on this one. You got a bunch of gaps here. So I don't know that it necessarily provides you anything different. This is one time. TSLQ, is TSLQ 1.5? No, it's just a daily. It's just a one time. But it's done better. And you have this gap down here between 83 and 85. It hasn't been fully covered, but you still have confirmation. I mean, this is really what's crazy is, let's pull the volume. We're going to pull the volume back here to our first run at 37. So here's everybody that's holding. There's nobody buying up here. Nobody buying up here. I mean, there is a shelf forming here, but I would say you're looking at 61 before you're looking at 90. So, well, I shouldn't say that before you're looking at 100 on this one. It's just risky. I mean, it's down at 103 in pre-market right now. So, crazy. I mean, nothing that wasn't expected, but yeah, I should message Stacy and ask her what she thinks about this. Honestly, the woman's a millionaire. I can't give her too much crap. She's probably a very nice person. I'm shocked that somebody who charges you has 59,000 followers. She's doing an ad that's targeted to me. Costco's up 2%. Apple's up 1%. We're going to have a big day. Goldman Sachs up 1%. Oxy up 1%. Microsoft 1.5%. Microsoft, honestly, Microsoft's due for a little bounce. I mean, look at how bad that's doing. You've covered this gap. I don't think you have any gaps below this. Let's see. Let's pull it back to a daily to see if we have any real gaps. I mean, look at this. Look at that tranche down. Let's go to a daily. I think all your gaps are going to be up. Yeah. Let's go back. You're back to 2021. You do have a gap down here at 208. A slight gap that hasn't been filled at 208. We don't even see COVID in this. But let's look at a weekly to see the last time it got under the 200 day. Because it's using see on the weekly, it's using the 200 day as its support level. And I don't even see a time up. Here you go, 2013. The lost decade back here. We're going to have to go to a monthly to see the lost decade. But see, you're using the 50 day. And it's typically on the monthly has been using the 50 day. So if here, I'm going to expand this. We'll get rid of the earnings. We'll get rid of the dividends. And let's draw a trend line. This is the 2008-2009. Let's draw a channel. Because we're going to use the bottom part here. And we'll use COVID. There. So you touched here, and you broke trend here. Oh, stop. I was trying to get it. Zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you broke trend right there. So, it's a pretty good graph to see. You do have some upside. So, my guess just from a channel perspective is you're at 233. My guess is you're looking at potentially 300 by the end of the year if this thing turns around. If yeah, Yeah, gaps are magnets. Think of them as magnets. Gaps don't always get filled. Gaps don't always attract, but gaps are good to see. First you find the direction of the stock, because if it's going down, then your gap can provide you, okay, where is it going to go? And if it breaks that gap, where's the next one? Then you use your volume support. It's just like any other indicator. You use your indicators to do, should I use just the MACD to get in and get out? No. You want to use the MACD. You want to use RSI. You want to use your Bollinger Bands. Gaps are the same way. Gaps, volume charts, they all kind of intersect. It's all math. And believe me, I am not an expert on this stuff. I'm just a guy that has done this long enough to look at it. But Hung, I think it was Hung that was in Oxy, or maybe it was Amit that was in Oxy, and was like, oh my God, I hope it turns around. It's turning around. This fucker's turning around. Okay, let's do some scans. I think I did some scans last night. So, and somebody asked me for my scanner. If you have TrendSpider and you want the scanner, just let me know. Big one that crossed up last night, Devon. Oxy, for some reason, Oxy crossed up, but it's not coming up on my scanner, and I don't know why. Over the weekend, I'm going to work on 2 different lists for you guys as well. The first list will be ETFs that I normally trade, long and short. This will include UCO, SCO, BOIL, KOLD. It will include SPXL, XPSS. It will include Jim L and Jim S when they come out. Hey, and is anybody else slightly worried that our government, because of the party, the one party, is completely dysfunctional? They're trying to say the Democrats are, the only reason the Democrats are together is because they're completely the Democrats are together because of strong leadership. Whatever you think about Nancy Pelosi, she was able to get that leadership kind of in line. She's got wackos just like the Republicans do. I mean, the wackos just never got control. They were kind of put in line. Now they got a lot of. Mike, you like dysfunction until you don't get paid. I mean, that's essentially what could happen if we're stuck in this thing. I think they were saying until for another 60 days, which is likely. I like the thought process. There was somebody I saw last night, and again, I just watched this stuff kind of transitory, probably like most Americans, because most Americans don't necessarily even care about this stuff. I mean, let's be honest. I think 50% of the people show up for a vote, and that's in a presidential election under normal circumstances. But so most people don't even watch this stuff whatsoever. But there was one suggestion that there is a very moderate Republican, and I forget his name. God, I wish I would have written this down. But there is a moderate Republican who could get at least 30 Democrat votes. I'm going to show that. I have very high controls on chat on YouTube. So when you say they're idiots, James, it stopped it from coming through, but I'll accept that. But yeah, so there's a moderate Republican who could get, and part of the reason he did get it, he He's never met with Donald Trump, which is one of the things that the Democrats actually hate. And Trump can't even get these people in line. He said vote for McCarthy. The second reason is that he has crossed party lines a couple of times, I believe, and voted with the Democrats. He is super, super kind of, moderate. I think it's up top. I think you're right. Upton. Yeah, Upton. I think Upton is the one that I heard. And, yeah, I don't know much about him. Let's be honest. I like Kinzinger. If that guy was still there, I'd honestly push for him. I'm not a Cheney fan whatsoever, but I do think that she actually has some morals. I like her in that respect, unlike her father, who had no morals whatsoever. Okay, we're not on politics. We're here to do this. I don't think I need to scan because I think I did them all yesterday. No, my UNH, I'll go over my UNH trade and what I plan on doing. But UNH did not cross. UNH right now is at 490. And I had my order in at 487. Let me look at. Yeah, it's at 490. It got down to 488 yesterday. It never hit 487. But like we talked about, here, let's go to the strategy tester and run this one. We talked about this candle right here between 487.74 and 508. It was a 2% candle, which is huge for this stock. Just to give you, for instance, yesterday's morning candle was 1.67. So a 2% candle is a big one. But this candle in particular, I said, I want to see if it'll get down that way. I'm not going to be upset if all of a sudden I have to pay $4.90 for this one, but I'm not buying on a Friday. The RSI is at 24. I haven't seen this turn up. I don't see a confirmation of it coming up. But if 490 is kind of the price point and it puts in a flat number there, then you kind of got to go for it. The VIX, by the way, is at 21. So you VIXy, SVIXy has been your play. Everything that's good is bad. Everything that's bad is good. Look at SVIXy. I mean, this is a long-term play that I wouldn't tell anybody to play, but it's from 49 to 59. I mean, there's no way you'd hold that, but yeah, James, part of it is you just got to be patient. I mean, patience is gonna, pay off. It's kind of like do I think that Apple is going to stay here at 126? No. I mean, we're going to remove all annotations of Apple. I went over that one. But am I buying here at 127? It closed at 125. It's trading at 126. No, it's on the bottom portion of the 9-day. So if I'm adding to, say I'm starting a new position in Apple, am I starting it at 126? Hell yeah. I told my parents last night, I said, you're crazy not buying here. Because I think at some point during this year, this is a $150 stock. They just make too much money. Yeah, I've got a significant six-figure cash allowance from all my tax harvesting. I haven't done a thing. I think today's number was a big one. I don't think it provided me any support that the Fed is going to ease into this, but I think with the S&P right now closed at 3,800, let's take a look at SPY. Here, I got to put in my earnings and dividends back there. Let's look at SPY because I like SPY in the algorithm. It's got you in at 388, but you're trading at 379. PE is high, but you know what? You look at You got Google, which its forward PE is 16. This thing's going to grow, earnings per share next year. This year it's minus 16%. I don't take that's going to, this is going to lose 16%. I still think it's going to grow. You're only 3% above your 52-week high. Apple, I think you're 5%. You're 0.68. Oh, hold on. Excuse me. Your 52-week lows. How much more do you want to go? You are back to where you were selling in 2020. Here's COVID. This is COVID. Did you not do anything, between 2021 and 2022 that had any value? They moved from China to India and Vietnam. Yeah. AirPods. Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. AirPods. Go to your mall. Go to the mall. Go to the DMV. Go to anywhere public. How many people are wearing Apple Watches? How many people have iPhones? Go to Starbucks. How many people have PCs versus MacBooks? I think the professional crowd is even starting to understand that MacBooks, the MacBook Air, is a significantly better, longer-lasting machine. So it might cost a company $1,000 to get a MacBook versus say $300 or $400 for a PC. But that MacBook is going to last 6 to 7 years. That PC is probably going to last 2 years. It's capital cost, so they can write it off. I mean, there's definitely some tax strategies around that as well. But okay, I think I've got enough because I scanned last night. One that I wrote down that I'll tell you guys. I'm going to go over it too. BTU. This was a Tom trade. 27.19. It crossed up. Remember when we were talking about it down here at about 25, and I said, looks like there's a good button hook here. This candle on January 4th, that's a 5% candle right there. Crazy. And it's not a super expensive stock. I like this one. I like it a lot. But 27.19, it looks like a pretty good rebound. And I think you could get to 30. You only need 30 for your 10%. But it doesn't have a dividend. It is a monster of a stock for a year. One performance from last year to this year, just in 1 year terms, 141%. It's a monster. It's coal. So, yeah, BTU is a good one. And see how it's using that 200-day. It broke it. I was a little concerned, but it's back above it. So see what happens when it breaks it? It just keeps going back above it. You're in an upward trend. Make no mistake here. Let's go to a daily. Your 200 days moving up. Your 50 days moving up. You just kind of used it as support. This gap down here, since you broke that 200 day, I'm not nervous about it. Not nervous at all. If you go to a weekly, you're not quite positive. That 200 day still negative, but it's clearly using that 50 day for the last 2 years as its support level. So I think this is a good one. All roads lead to buy, and I may put a couple $1,000 into this one. I'm writing it down. My buys today, BTU, if I buy them, UNH and Costco. But Costco I probably will skip. Roblox too. But Roblox may have run a little bit too much. Okay, let's start the podcast. Good morning. It's Friday, January 6th, and I'm going to start the podcast out here with a little shout out on Active Trader Pro because yesterday, and it's a pat on the back, and some of you guys took this trade. I said Mullen midday might have some news, and we were watching it down here at about 36 cents. It was at 34 when it kind of opened up, maybe 35 cents. Let's just call it 36 cents, okay? I said it's got confirmation, and I heard that there's going to be news. Well, this one kind of took off. So from 36 cents, you went all the way up to 44 cents. Crazy good trade. If you had played options, even better. Look at the volume kind of increase as it goes. Now, in the after hours, you've kind of gone down, and you've come back to 41 cents. I don't know what it's going to do today. I don't expect anybody to be holding this one. If you didn't get out at 42 or 43 cents when you saw it in the pre-market or sometime today or even yesterday when it lost its confirmation at about, this is a 5-minute candle. You had 5 minutes to pull the trigger when it was up here at 43 and it lost all of its confirmation at 43. So if you're still holding at 41, you're like, I should have sold. Well, you're getting greedy. That's your lesson. But kudos and high five to everybody that took Mullen. I did not. There were a couple of trades that I looked at yesterday, and one of them that I actually had an order in for was UNH. And I had UNH at 487. Its day range was 488 to 502. It never got to 487. Here in pre-market, it's at 491. I probably will put in the trade again at 487. And the reason I'm doing that, and I just went over this on YouTube Live with a couple of folks, is because of this one candle on October 13th. The low was 487.74. So maybe I'll put in the order at 488. It was a 2% candle, which is a big move. But the reason I'm putting that order in is because I don't have any confirmation right now that this is moving upward. Right at 490, it's kind of putting in its base level at 490. I'd be lucky if I get it at 487. Your earnings are coming up January 12th, next week. So in my mind, I want that before earnings because I've seen what it has done the past couple of times when earnings comes out. So I don't think that getting this one at 487 is a bad move. I'm just kind of, counting my pennies per se. And it's maybe the wrong strategy, but those are the two that I took. Costco, I may have steered you guys wrong on Costco. They announced today their December sales were up, and this in pre-market is trading to 462. 450 was probably the trade, but if you don't get it here, there is a gap up here between 476 and 479. If today's numbers tend to hold, and they probably will because of the job numbers, and we'll go over that in 2 seconds, but if today's numbers hold, you're probably going to wish that you would have bought at the 458 because you're already above that by $2. But it'll probably go up. I'm hoping that I can get this one at about 450. Anywhere between 450 and 440 is kind of where I think I want it. It never got down there. Here on this candle, the low was 447. I probably should have pulled the trigger there. 449 was the low on that candle, but it hasn't. Yesterday it got to 449, but it was for a split second. So, and then they announced the December sales, and of course now it's up at 462. So another one that I'm watching is Roblox because, and this one's at 30. We had a buy-in here at 26. You still have great confirmation. You're going to fill this gap, it looks like, up to 32.58. If you're lucky, you'll get up to 36 and you'll hit the 200-day like you have a couple of other times. But the run is pretty strong in this one. I'm taking a look at it. Again, this is not one that's making money. This is a gamble. This is just something that you're kind of playing it with. So it's not something that I would say you go big and go hard with. Tesla. I had said, hey, Tesla's heading down to 85. Today we get news that they're cutting prices in China. China is, a pretty competitive market. They have some issues with their economy. The Tesla is a premium item compared to some of their other cars like NIO. So they cut their prices. It kind of indicates that in China, which is the leading market for electric vehicles, Tesla has a demand problem. Well, Tesla also cut the prices in the fourth quarter here in America. The question is this a demand problem? Self-driving, the full self-driving, it came out that I think only like 300,000 people have paid for full self-driving. That's a crazy low number compared to the amount of people that have purchased the car. So it is a $10,000 or $12,000 add-on to the vehicle. Elon keeps raising the price. It doesn't get you much. I mean, honestly, today, nobody's using the full self-driving. There are very few people. I have it. I paid, I think, $4,000 all in, maybe $5,000 all in for it. It was when they promised full self-driving, and you had a bunch of other features that you needed to buy full self-driving for. And part of that was the summon, which is basically a party trick I learned, which is where you kind of stand away from the car, you make it come to you, and then it crashes into curbs and it will run over someone's foot. Essentially, it's just not a great tool. The one thing that if I were buying a Tesla today that I would miss if I didn't get full self-driving is automatically changing lanes on my drive from New Jersey, from here in Atlanta to New Jersey and back. That's the one thing I would miss. But remember, we've got this daily chart on Tesla. Let me make sure I'm on. Yeah, I'm on that. I'm going to collapse this. And we've got this daily chart. And if I pull this back and we look, there is this second gap. Remember, I said this first gap. Everybody called me crazy, but I said that first gap at 137, that needs to be filled. Well, that got filled. That got filled pretty well on the daily. Well, now you're looking at 82 to 84. And that needs to be filled before I'm comfortable in buying this one as well. So, okay, hold on one second. Emmett, I went over Mullen, man. I think a lot of people took it. But hold on one second. I got to blow my nose. I felt my old ass self going into one of those, I don't have COVID. I know that. It's because I had oatmeal. Usually when I have oatmeal before, I don't drink dairy milk. I drink almond milk. And usually when I have oatmeal before I do one of these things, I start getting a little phlegmy. And Emmett, full disclosure on Mullen, I don't think you're crazy. I think you're crazy if you're holding it. But I don't think you're crazy if you're trading it. I think you're crazy holding it overnight. And the reason is because there are people and there are algorithms and there are news cycles in that. Emmett, don't even hold it over the freaking weekend. You're crazy if you do that. Now, I say you're crazy. Take your 20% profit. What makes you think that you can't buy in at the price that again, to take another big move on a Friday? Monday, all of a sudden you come in and it's at 21 cents again. I think you're crazy for holding on to it because, again, this is a rug pull stock. I'm going to continue the podcast, but remind me when I'm done with the podcast, Emmett, I will pull up Mullen's long-term stock chart. And I guarantee you it's not a monthly play. This This is, GameStop, where you get in, you get out with a 50% gain in a day. And then tomorrow, even though it's up 20% from where you sold it yesterday, you get in again, the next day. Take your profits. This is a rug pull stock. And so I'm not against you. And listen, this is the boomer in me. I've been through these rug pulls. I've seen them. I have lost money in them. I've gained a lot of money in them. Well, they're not shorting at 40 cents. They're shorting at 80 and 90 cents. The reason it goes up is because they're trying to sell, and they have to buy those shares at 20 cents. And so as it gets down there and more people start to have shorted at 40 and 50 cents, and it's at 20 cents, people ain't selling at 20 cents. There's people like you who just won't sell their shares, who are holding on to it. When, you bought at 10 cents and all of a sudden at 20 cents, somebody wants to buy it because they're shorting at 80 cents, but you won't sell it. So, yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond's going bankrupt. Okay, let me get back to the podcast. Sorry, I had to pause that. I had some oatmeal before breakfast. So, but yeah, Tesla, I think you're going right to this gap at 81 to 83. I will not be buying any until I see. Here's the thing. Look at this. When you pull this volume chart, and we'll pull the volume chart to August 3rd, 2022. The majority of people who are still holding are up here in the 180s. And so that's a pretty good magnet to get it back there. But the second you're right at this volume chart right here at 106, people are buying between 100 and 106. If their demand continues to go down, I think you're going to start to see even more people pull in. And as people start to buy in, then you're going to start to see the price creep up. So Tesla, there you go. One thing I do want to point out is how broken the Republican Party is and how bad a leader McCarthy's going to be, because he's going to have no power with all the concessions that he has. So be prepared for the market. That's bad news. While it's great for to have a split government and to have kind of dysfunction, this kind of dysfunction is not good for the market. If people start not getting paid, if the government shuts down because there's 20 people who won't vote for McCarthy, or there's somebody who can't get those votes, you've got a problem. And there's a reason this hasn't happened since the Civil War. Remember, the Civil War was what almost broke this country up. So historians, read your history books. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I am a Monday morning quarterback who just repeats headlines. So, but it mind you, that is not good news for the market. So be very aware of that. Now, what I'm going to do for the Fridays, because I tell people, hey, you shouldn't buy on Fridays. I might buy long-term on Friday, but you shouldn't buy a short-term plays. Like Mullen, I was just going over it with Emmett on YouTube. Don't hold your Mullen over the weekend. Sell it. Buy back in on Monday if you want. Just sell it. I mean, your Mullen is not going to get you your long-term capital gains of 15%. You're going to pay short-term capital gains on that. There is no strategy in the world that says hold that one over the weekend. Will it be 80 cents on Monday? Could be. You sell it for 40 cents today. Could be 80 cents on Monday. And again, what you already got a profit. So buy back in at 80 cents. Maybe it goes to $1, next week, if you believe in it that hard. But take your profits when you can. There's an old saying, pigs get slaughtered or something. I'll look it up on the internet. But what I want to do now on Fridays is kind of go over the scans that we did this week and see where they are today, because ones that we do early in the week, they may have 6, 7, 8 candles. So let's take a look at some of these. And the first one I'm going to look at is QCLN. This is the clean energy ETF that I have in the Daily Stock Picks core portfolio. Where did we wind up? Well, Monday it said to buy at 47.77. Right now you're at 45.53. You never got really above that 9-day, so you still have some downside. Do I think that this has reached a bottom? I don't know, but the RSI right now is at 33. The MACD is still crossed up. It hasn't gotten you out of this trade. Your average trade on this one, you lose 30% over 1,000 candles, but over 1,000 candles, if you buy and held, you lost 43%. Your average win is 9.3%. You do only win 25% of the times. So this has clean energy in it. With Biden stuff, it kind of ran up. I've held on to this one. I've made a fortune in this one because I bought it way back when. If we go back to, I think it was 2018, I bought this one. I think it was way back here at about like $18, somewhere in that neighborhood. From a weekly perspective, you're still just breaking the 200-day, which you haven't done since COVID, since 2018. So, again, I think this one's a long-term. That's why I have it in the core portfolio. Taiwan Semiconductor, we had a bad week for chips. Let's take a look at what the algorithm did on this one. 74.29 was the buy. You're at 75.78. You still have confirmation. I think you hold on to it. It's kind of, the Bollinger Bands are just cinching up. You're kind of looking at that one as a decent one. Morgan Stanley, I currently own. By the way, I do not own Taiwan Semiconductor. I want to get in, and I may get in on that one. Morgan Stanley, 85.64. You're at 85.91. If you wanted to get out with a short little gain, you could have gotten out at about 87. I don't know that it would have been worth it. The whole week it's kind of floundered in this RSI. Nothing exciting for me with Morgan Stanley. Apple, we talked about Apple being a one that I have a ton in. It has no support whatsoever. 127.27 was the buy-in. Today you're trading at 126. It just never had confirmation. It got you out of the first trade at 128 and got you back in at 127. So it's clearly on its way down. The RSI from a 4-hour standpoint is at 35. The MACD is kind of just fluttering down there. I think you're putting in a floor here, but I'd wait for their earnings. Their earnings are January 26th. We know earnings are going to be bad. So I'd wait for that one. I don't think I'd buy into earnings, but I think if you don't have a position in Apple and you want to start it, my personal opinion, at some point this year, it's going to be a $150 stock. Amazon, there was a buy on, looks like December 30th. So it wasn't even this week. But Amazon, 83.12. The reason why I bought it up is because I just think this is a good price. It's at 82 right now, 82.52. So the market's open. It's trading. I don't know where this one goes. Honestly, I don't know anybody that has given up their prime. They just hired too much. And as they're laying people off, they're going to save a bunch of money and their profit margins are going to go up. So that's one. Teladoc, I said I wasn't super excited about. This was one that ARK loves. It's gotten you in and out during the week. 24.45 was the buy-in on Monday. It's at 22. You just don't want it. I'm telling you, when I tell you that one, the only reason I brought it up was because it's an ARK favorite. I still think it's just a shitty company. ARKG, 28.63. You're trading at 28.20. So 28.63 was the buy-in, but that candle was a 4% candle on Monday. So it was a pretty volatile buy-in at 28.63. But MGM, I said, hey, MGM is a play on China, and most of China's stuff with the Macau opening and stuff, it's gambling because we have MGM and Penn. 33.93 was the buy-in. Today you're at 35.62. So you're close to 10%. So let's look at Penn, PENN, since we're looking at some of the gamblers. $30.20 was your buy-in. And again, the candle was a big candle at 3%. $30.25 is where you're trading today. Their earnings are coming up on February 1st. The RSI is kind of in there. Personally, I'd probably want to own any other gambler like Wynn or Sands. Sands has exposure to Macau, so when that opens up, that's a good one. Datadog, I had mentioned this one is a good software company, but it's in a downward trend, and it's hard hit. We had a cross up. I don't even see it on here, but you don't want to be in this one. It looks like the cross down. It crossed up slightly, but it was currently in one. It's gotten you out. Let's look at 3M. That was the final one on Tuesday, 3M. You had a cross up here at 119, and you're trading at 124. So nothing crazy, but a good 3, 4, 5%. Then we go to Wednesday's cross-ups. J&J. I said, this one's just going to flounder. It's trading at 180. We had a buy-in at 178. I thought it was too expensive. It's close to its 52-week highs, but you just buy and hold this one. I hold it personally. I think it's in our core portfolio. Yeah, it's in the core portfolio. DocuSign, which is not in our core portfolio, and I don't hold, but I am a fan of. We had a cross-up. It's a secondary cross-up. December 9th, you had a buy-in here at $50.23. You're at $54. I would have suggested you got out at $55 to make your 10% and get out of this one before it kind of goes down. But you do have some gaps above that could fill. UPS, which is one that I'm a big fan of down here because it's just been beaten up. We had a buy-in here at 176 on Wednesday. You're trading at 175. So it hasn't been all good. Adobe, which again, I'm a fan of. I don't personally own, I don't personally use, but you had this ascending triangle. 342 was the buy-in. You're trading at 331. So quite a bit down from where you were. And it's just because it's expensive. If we go over here and we look at Adobe, the PE is 32. Just super expensive stock. I'm a fan of it, but it is a super expensive stock. KWeb has had a good week, and I need to add the China stocks back into some of our core portfolio. KWeb, it was a secondary cross up. You've got a huge ascending triangle. 1995 was the buy-in on October 27th. You're still in that trade at 34.13. This was Tuesday, so it was January 4th. You were trading somewhere in the neighborhood of 34, and it was a secondary cross-up right there. So I think 34, you kind of at the same place with KWeb. Boeing, this has just been a monster. This was a secondary cross-up, and it's continued to fly. 129 on October 4th was the buy-in. You're at 208 right now. If I go to January 4th, you were just under 200. You're at 195. You're at 208 right now. Alert, you're at 208. If for some reason on January 24th, when they announce earnings, they say we're profitable and we're redeploying a dividend, it's a $300 stock. So at some point in time this year, it will be a $300 stock. And Jim Cramer is actually good on that one. He said to buy it on the way down. I don't know that his trust bought it on the way down. I think they were buying it at 400. So their average price, they're probably still in the red on that one. Okta, which I said, hey, it's not making money. Be careful of this one. It was a secondary cross-up on January 4th. They were trading at 70. They're at 66 right now. So yesterday, we had McDonald's Corporation. There's not much that's going to change in one day on this one. You had a buy-in here at 264.76. Got you right out at 265, with a 0.95% loss, it looks like. I'm sorry. It got you out the next candle. Hasn't got you back in, but it's trading at 264, right where it was at, 276. So you haven't lost any money. But again, that's just one day. So Walgreens Boots, we talked about this one. This one had a cross-up. It was a crazy good one. 35.91 was the cross-up, but you could have gotten this one at 34.30, and you're at 35.37. Here's what you have to look at. The gap that it made from 37 to 36, it's going right back to fill that. Honest to God, you're within the Bollinger Bands. You're still under the 9-day. But at some point in time, I think this gets to 37. Are you in danger of holding this one? No. I mean, when you see this, again, any reaction in the market is an overreaction. I think that's what the market's reacting to. So, Walgreen Boots was one. Broadcom, AVGO, which is a chip company. This was one. It got you in. It was a secondary cross up. We have a cross up here on October 18th at 438. You're at 567. So nice big move on Broadcom. An undervalued stock. That's what you can do. Now, today's cross ups, which again, in my mind, this is one that you buy. It's $60.17. I think you should have gotten under 60, but $60.17 is Devon Energy. This has a crazy good dividend. It's the highest paying dividend stock on the S&P 500 at 8.59. I personally own it. I have not gotten out. I don't follow the algorithm on this one. The algorithm makes you 10% over 1,000 candles. Buying and holding makes you 243%. This is an energy company. Your average win is 14%. You win 30% of the time. There are 30 positions, so you win 30% of the time. 14.94% is your average win. It's not a great stock to trade. Just own it. Have it for the dividend. We had a cross up here on Oxy, which is another one that I own in the core portfolio at $62.46. You're at $63.56 right now, a 2% gain. That's just in one day. So I think you're going back to the 200-day of 67. This is one I own. I don't listen to the algorithm on this one. Biogen, I was hearing something about, I think they're one of their drugs. You had a cross up here. It doesn't look like it's actually on my screen, but you do have a cross up. Maybe it just crossed down. Yeah, you have a cross up here at about 274. My father owns this one. It's using its 200-day. I mean, there's nothing super exciting about this. You have this enormous gap here between 200 and 251 that isn't filled. I don't know that I'd necessarily recommend this one, but if you wanted to get into it, I think you just got to be aware that this gap is still in play. So it's a significant gap. But again, that's in the drug space, which I'm not particularly educated in. Chewy is one. This is an interesting one. It's got a 36.15 price cross up here. I don't know that I'd buy it because you still have room on the downside to this $32 on this gap. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that $32 gets in there because September 30th, it was down there. If we look at Chewy, the only reason I brought this up is because the dogs. But they're not making money. Year to date, it's down 2%. Remember, you're only January 6th. Your performance year for 1 year is down 33%. You're 62% above your 52-week low of $22. You're 33% below your 52-week high of $54. It's not super exciting. Cross up. If you want to go back to the 200-day, you want to buy it here at 36, I think you may get to 37, 38. But it's a cross up. And as a dog owner, I figured I'd bring it up. Another entry for a energy company is FANG, Diamondback Energy, 36.15, right under the 200-day. 133.95. It just held on. You did have this death cross right here on December 28th of the 50-day going under the 200-day. But I think that was more relevant to this 136 buy, and it dipped down. It lost you 5%, gets you right back in at 133. You are above the 9-day. So you do have confirmation. I think in my mind, if you don't have energy exposure, this might be an opportunity for you. And the reason I say it might be an opportunity for you is because look at that dividend, 2.24%. Your PE is only 5. Last year, you made 17%. You are 19% below your 52-week high. You're 32% above your 52-week low. Personally, I'd probably take Devon or Oxy. Another energy company that you could play, VLO. This is Valero Energy Corporation. It's gapping up here. 126 was the buy-in. You're trading at 130. But this one has 140 in its realistic range. If energy continues to go higher, you've got this gap up here at 138 that seems to have been covered. But again, it traditionally goes well above the 200-day, so you may be just getting a secondary move there. You have earnings coming out on January 25th. It's an interesting one. The real interesting one that I may actually buy into, BTU, which is a Dr. Tom play. This is Peabody Energy. It is coal. I have to get over my aversion to coal. But BTU buy-in is 27.19. You're trading at 28 today. But I think this does have 30 and 31 in it. And the reason is because just at the beginning of December, you were at 30, 31. Look at where that MACD is. It's still below its oscillator line. Now, the RSI is at 56, so choose which one. This may be a short-term energy play for me. BTU, I think they have a dividend, but let me see. BTU. They don't have a dividend. Their PE is 3, so it's not super, super high. Again, it's a coal company. And, do what you want, but energy is going to be a pretty good play this year, in my mind. I don't think you're getting out of the energy game. Personally, I'm not getting out of the energy game. If we pull this over to its highs of 32, which was on November 30th, so just at the beginning of November, you're looking at a pretty good volume shelf here that might pull it up to about 30. If that one expands, then you probably are, could go up. There's still a good amount of people holding at 31, 32. A lot of people got out. If you break this volume trend, you're down to 26. The 200-day is right at about 26. I might get into this one. That's all I'm saying. There are 4 that I might get into. BTU, UNH, Costco, and Roblox. Those are the 4. This is going to be the format that I'm going to try and adopt for Fridays because I don't want you buying on a weekend. Until we get a more clear state of where the market is going, I don't think that Friday buys are what you do. I think particularly I'm still scanning the energy sector. I'm still looking at PXD, for instance, which has an 11% dividend. I think this one is well below its 200-day, and I think you have an opportunity to get into this one. 228 was the buy-in yesterday on January 5th in the afternoon. So you had a nice buy-in on this one. What I'm going to do over the weekend is put together 2 additional watch lists for those of you with TrendSpider. If you haven't gotten TrendSpider, you probably should go get it. Again, if I'm on a vacation or something, you can look these up yourself. But the 2 additional lists that I'm going to put are all of the ETFs, the short and longs that I trade, so that we can look at entries and exits in those. And it will be all of the energy trades, the energy companies that I think you should get into, that I quote unquote approve. So we did take quite a bit lower, it looks like. Let me look at. Yeah, we're negative on the NASDAQ right now. So we went from a positive open to pretty good negative. And wow, everything seems to have, but Costco's still flying. So be careful what you're trading today. Energy, I think, is going to be, it's been beaten up. That's what's going up. You got Qualcomm in the chip space. You've got Simon Property Group. You've got Target up 3%. And that's based on all of the Costco numbers. Target at 158. We talked about this one having a buy-in on Target at 143 way back here on December 27th. I told you anything under 150, I think you absolutely could buy, because I think at some point in time this year, we're going back to cover this gap, which was just created, by the way, in November. That gap is going to be 177. So buying here, I don't think you're out of the realm of possibility buying here in Target. And at some point in time, maybe this year, maybe next year, you go to 212 to cover that gap. Target's too good of a store. Alphabet is too good of a company to be trading at these levels. So yeah, be careful trading. Listen to me on Monday. I'll have some new plays for you. If you are a TrendSpider subscriber, or if you want to subscribe to TrendSpider, I think the sale is still going on. Let's just look at TrendSpider. It's going on for another 2 days. 468, you need the elite level in the middle to be able to get my algorithm. I'll share with you the algorithm. I'll share with you all the watch lists. I'll share with you the scanners that I use. I'm working on a couple other algorithms for short-term trading and maybe some of those ETFs that I trade that might work a little bit better than my algorithm. But again, if you get the algorithm, it's, kind of plug and play. But TrendSpider is such a great tool. I promise you, if I can't make you $500 in a year, you're doing something wrong. Last year was a little bit difficult. I lost money on my long-term portfolio. I made money in my short-term portfolio. Remember, if you haven't listened for a while, there are some podcasts on a 40-40-20 portfolio that I suggest. 40% you just buy and hold. Includes Apple, Amazon, Google. You don't necessarily touch it. Maybe once a year you look at it. 40% is midterm, anywhere between six months and a year. You might tax loss harvest. You might take some profits of those a little bit quicker than you would normally from the other 40%. But 20%, shit. 10% of that, 10%. I should split that 20% up into 10% and 10%. 10% of it is going to be like Devon Energy and some of those dividend plays where you play it through the dividend, or you don't necessarily listen to the algorithm that you have. 10% you could hold for a day, you could hold for an hour. 10% of that's like Mullen. Mullen would be in that 10%. Because if you blow up 10% of your account, you're not killing yourself. And you shouldn't throw all of it into Mullen. But, again, 5% of your portfolio should probably be in something like crypto that's super, super volatile, but could be life-changing. So if you have any questions, hit me up on the socials. Again, TrendSpider's on sale. If you want to switch to Fidelity, just, it's $2,500 put in. We'll get you some money on that one. Just email me your email address and your phone number. Send it to me on the socials. Whatever you want to do, join the private Facebook group. If you're listening on this and you're not watching the YouTube video, go and watch the YouTube video. The charts are important. Part of your process of just listening to some douche on the internet like me is learning how to read these charts. You really want to know how to read the charts so that I'm not your guy that you listen to. I am not your Jim Cramer. Those people that make fun of Jim Cramer, there are a lot of people that listen to Jim Cramer. And Jim Cramer is not he makes money. He charges you $700 a year. And I showed everybody who was listening on my podcast, this woman on YouTube, this woman, Dr. Stacy Nash. She sent me it was an ad that I saw on Instagram, and I'm like, what's she placing ads for? And I read her book, and I don't know. Just doesn't seem like, people that do courses. I have a problem with the people that do courses, because there was one person who messaged me last night. He had paid money for a course that was just a Bollinger Band. And they said, yeah, when it's on the top of the Bollinger Band, you sell. When it's on the bottom of the Bollinger Band, you buy. And you can make money this way. Well, fuck no, you can't make money that way. So it is what it is. So any questions, hit me up. Thanks, you guys. Have a great weekend. And by the way, the Buffalo Bills player is awake, communicating. And the quote of the year, and remember this for January, he woke up. First thing he asked the doctors was, did we win? And they responded back, you won at the game of life. Kudos. So if you're listening to this, you won at the game of life. Kudos to everybody. I hope to see a picture of that guy soon, not intubated, and breathing on his own. So take care. Have a great weekend. Okay, share, export song to disk. We're going to get this going. Export. Damn, you guys were chatting up a storm. I got to go back. Okay, let's look at Mullen for Emmett. Tell me, Mullen, What you doing? Here's Mullen. This is a 4-hour chart. The algorithm had you at 28 cents. You still got confirmation up here. What's it trading at now? I'm pulling it up on Active Trader Pro. 44 cents. It seems to have dipped down when the market opened to 37 cents. Somebody got this one at 37 cents in a high volume spike in a 5-minute candle. Kudos to them. But here, if I go, Emmett, this is why you don't want to hold Mullen. This is a weekly candle of Mullen. That 50-day is clearly moving down. The 9 days starting to move up. But look at the reason the 9 days moving up. It's the volume. The volume's picking up. And what are you short Mullen on? 11% of the total market float is shorted on Mullen. That's a big amount. Let's look at Bed Bath & Beyond. I think it's BBY. I think that's the big one that's being shorted. Yeah. Bed Bath & Beyond is 43% shorted. 43% of yeah. Hold on. I'm going to switch over here so you guys can see what I'm pulling up here. Bed Bath & Beyond's percent of float has risen 5.99% since its last report. The company recently reported that it has 37.4%, which is 57% of all regular shares that are available for trading based on its trading volume. Yeah. 16% of the total float is shorted. So this could be a short squeeze. I mean, honestly, this could be a short squeeze where it's going to move up. You short it because if it's not making money and retailers aren't behind it, traditionally those guys make a lot of money. Going from $1 to 50 cents, you've doubled your money. So, and it's not making money, so you know where it's going to go. But this is why I say Mullen's a rug pull. You see that volume kind of going down right there. Mullen's kind of got the same thing, but the actual stock's going up. You're at 44 cents. In my mind, Emmett, if you reach 50 cents by noon, I'd get out. I wouldn't hold this past 1:30. The afternoon trading on this one, if I remember correctly, let's look at a 5-day. Yeah, see the morning? The morning's huge. Yesterday, for some reason, like I said, I saw on Twitter that the afternoon was going to be big. So, let me look at some of your things. BTU's good. Thoughts on shorting EW? Manny, EWW. Manny, I don't short. And the reason I don't short is shorting would keep me up at night because there is there's no limit to how much you can lose. MCI Mexico, let's see. Is there a short? Short ETF Mexico. Here, non-leveraged Mexico ETFs. I don't see any. That's an ETF data. How to invest in Mexico. The Mex 3 times ETF. Let's see. Is there a 3 times Mexico bear? This is a bull. Here, emerging markets. You can do emerging markets. MEXX is the. Let's see. EDC is the bull. EDZ is the bear. That's how I would play. I wouldn't short EWW. I'd just play some of those emerging markets ones. Manny. And I just don't. I don't suggest shorting. Did you short AMC, Emmett? Emmett, I wouldn't wait for $1, man. You're greedy as fuck. KMI. What's KMI? Let's look at KMI. Kinder Morgan. I love Kinder Morgan. It's a commodities play. Algorithm got you in December 22nd at 17. It's at 1854. Honestly, Emmett, you trade enough. You need to learn. You need to learn candles and stuff like that. And TrendSpider will help you a tremendous amount, I think. Kinder Morgan, I like. I've traded Kinder Morgan last year on the commodities play because you saw this big May. You saw this move up from about 18 to 20, and then you saw it just dip down to 15. And I think this was part of where I was playing it. You can look back at the podcast. I was playing it here to June. Then it lost everything. But you went from 16 to 20 again. And I think you're in that run right now. I think you're going back up here. You got this double top right here at about 1927. You got it's not really a double top. You had it, but it broke through at 20. You could go to 20. Here's the killer. You got a 6% dividend. So for me, if I'm buying Kinder Morgan at 18 at a 16 PE, I'm kind of thinking, okay, I'm buying it a little bit expensive. But if I'm holding on to it till it hits 20 for a 10% gain, in the meantime, I'm getting a 6% dividend. SSL. What's SSL? Let me look at this for. Yeah, WWE's up because they're getting sold. 4.34. It's positive. See, here's the killer in something like SSL. It's an energy company. Why is it down 5% in a year? See, and I can't see the previous revenue and cost, gross profit. You do have an increase in gross profit, but you have this unusual expense. Yeah, they want me to upgrade. So I would go by this. I mean, there's too many good energy companies that are making you a shit ton of money. Why would you risk it on one that's just losing money until it breaks trend? that would be my take on it. Bill, let me look at HDSN. What do they do? Basic materials. It's got a 4 PE, no dividend. Wow, up 130% in 1 year. Where was it a year ago, though? A year ago, it was declining below the 200-day. Hasn't been covered since March. It's just got these Zacks. Zacks is the only one writing about it, and Zacks sucks. Will pay us for our opinion on this. You went from 147 to 192. Not an enormous increase in revenues. The cost went up, but your gross profit doubled. That's why it's going up. That gross profit, that margin went up. I don't know if this is a good one. You're 18% below your 52-week high of 12, but you're 226% above your 52-week low. I don't know enough about the company, but what makes me think it's not going to find somewhere in the middle here to continue to come down? It's got some short-term momentum. Again, the $9.90 is a buy. You're already up $10.28, almost 10%. The algorithm makes you 479% over 1,000 candles, 780% with just buy and hold. You win 70% of the time on this stock. 20 positions within 1,000 candles. Your average win is 17%. Your average loss is only 4%. So, Bill, of the two, I would say this technically looks like the better stock. But I just don't know what's going to stop it from coming to this gap here, other than maybe it's a great stock. ARDX, let's look at that one. And I can guarantee you this one's one of these poppers. You guys always bring me poppers. Oh, God. Is this not making money? ARDX. Let's see. It's not making money. This is healthcare. I think you brought this one up before. Biopharma. See, you're always rolling the dice on biopharma. $8 price target from Piper Sandler. After appeal, East Bay drug maker snares FDA do-over for dialysis patient drug. Yeah, it rose on an appeal. So you went from $1.80 to $2.80 on this appeal. You're 6% below your 52-week high at $2.90. If you want to take some money and throw it in here, it's probably, equivalent to crypto. I mean, that's essentially what you're doing in biopharma. So, tech stocks are just going down because bonds are going up. But the second bonds go up, I ain't putting six figures in Mullen. The second bonds go up. By the way, my brother was a producer on WW when it was known as WWF. But the reason this is popping and it's kind of gapped up here. I mean, it's gapped up big. Vince McMahon is either selling or coming back. I don't know which one. It's a good business. I mean, don't get me wrong. He announced the return to the company. So, knowing this business from the inside in the early 2000s when it was peak, I will tell you the McMahons are all about the show and all about the money. Vince McMahon returning puts some interest back in this. Make no mistake, This is simply probably a hey, I may be looking at selling some stock. Let's take a look at some of the industry insiders. May 27th, Kevin Dunn, who was my brother's boss. He sold $1 million worth of stock at $66. Blun Bradley, who I don't know. Kevin Dunn was my brother's boss when he worked there. He's been a long-time employee, a great friend to the McMahons. Their operating income's going up, so you can't argue with that. It's not a bad I mean, 28 PE, super expensive. I wouldn't put my money in here. I'd rather put it in Apple, but I could be wrong. SLRX. What's SLRX? SLRX is another biopharma. The good news about this one from a chart perspective is you got this gap up here that's pulling it up there. But you're losing money in this. Even my algorithm loses you 77%. Buying and holding loses you 93%. So I would take a look at, it's probably not making money. No. This is the same thing as the other one. Emmett, yeah. Have a decent computer for TrendSpider. And I say decent. I think it works better on PCs than it does on Macs. But if you have for instance, if you get the new MacBook Air, TrendSpider is going to run fine on it. It's a browser-based program. So it does take up some memory. But I like it. EDZ. What the hell is EDZ? See, and you guys have to remember, emerging markets. I mean, this is emerging markets. This is it's a messy. This is a 3-time leveraged ETF. This is not something you want to hold on to. It's playing, some of the options play. So that's essentially. Remember, it's not investing in emerging markets. This is simply just taking the price of emerging markets and playing some options against it. KMI. Let me see KMI. I think I just looked at that. Kinder Morgan, I don't think it's bad to get it in 18. I probably wouldn't. I mean, look at this candle. It's a 2% candle. Only other time you see 2% candles are, it's followed that trend. I don't want to say it's horrible to get in here at 18. You're above the 200 day. It's been hugging that 200 day. The algorithm has you in at 1787, but you're $1 above that. I think you could ride this. Again, if commodities kind of come back into play, 2020 is your 52-week high. So play it against that. But you've got that 6.1% dividend while you hold it. So I don't think it's horrible, but it just realize it is expensive. It'd be better to be in at 16 than it is at 18. Oxy I like. No, everything you see on this, Emmett, it's all manual. They start you off with a basic thing, but it's all manual. Larry, Cleveland Cliffs. I need to add Cleveland Cliffs, I think, into the core portfolio. The only problem with Cleveland Cliffs is I don't like to add it to the portfolio because I do think it's a better trading opportunity. But you know what? I'm going to add it in. Why not? Core investments. We'll add it in here. It's up 5% today. Look, 16, 18. was the algorithm buy-in. And look, you're above the 9-day. Those Bollinger Bands are syncing up. You got this gap between 1525 and 1592. It's a good play. Do I have Oxy in here? I do have Oxy in here. I don't know why that didn't come up on scans. Yeah, Brandon, great point on that one. If you guys, if there's anybody in here that wants to, was this one? Yeah, TrendSpider here. If you go here, so rather, just be sure you use my link. There was somebody that didn't use my link, and I had to have them changed over. In order to give you my algorithm, I need to know that you're signed up under my link. So I usually get an email when somebody signs up with my link because I do get a commission. But if you have any questions on how TrendSpider works, if it's going to be beneficial to you, get over here and go to how to use TrendSpider and TrendSpider updates, how to backtest trading strategies with TrendSpider. My algorithm is in the backtesting strategy. That's all it is. It's a backtesting. Doesn't tell you, hey, in the future it's going to go here. Just tells you, hey, on the current candle, based on the strategy that you've put in place, you want to buy. Based on the current candle, with the strategy that you have, you want to sell. Now, what TrendSpider also has is the scanner. The scanner is what I do live on YouTube every morning. I look within my algorithm, the entry portion of my algorithm. I look to see, hey, what stocks are out there that look good? And then I look at the chart, and it's just, guys, I mean, honest to God, this is the shit that people charge. What? Jim charges $50 a month for his texting service. This is all he does. So, and they have some great, and all of this, by the way, is free. It's on freaking YouTube. So, and let's do this. Let's do AutoFib. See the AutoFib? There's nothing above it. So do I want to buy Cleveland Cliffs here at 18, hoping it'll go to 20? Probably not. The RSI is way up here at 69. Hey, I don't want it there. So I'm kind of staying away from it. Now, we talked about Micron having a cross up back in December. Now, remember I said I wanted it an alert to alert me. Let's see. What did I do? Touch when the price above the 200, when it closes above the 200. So here, I said if this one breaks above the 200 and it closes above the 200, we want to take a look at it. It didn't close above the 200. That right tick is down here under the 200. So it didn't close over the 200. And I set this up yesterday, I think, because this candle did close above the 200. So I set this up yesterday. It hasn't closed. If today it closes above 55, I'll get an alert. TrendSpider tutorials are awesome. Awesome. I like them. So let me send you back over to Mullen, which we can see is falling. Let's go to it today. No, it's actually moving up. Had that one big candle down, but you're moving up. Emmett, we're rooting for you, man. The whole team is here. We're cheering you on. I think, Brandon, did you get out of Mullen? Weren't you the one that was in Mullen? I'm going to start uploading this. I got yelled at yesterday by a subscriber. Your podcast was late. I didn't get to listen to it. I guess he takes off at about like 11 o'clock or so. You did good, man. Podcast 16 upload. We're going to add in a transition so we can add in an ad. So Emmett, you're crazy. You nuts. Emmett, it ain't getting a $1 today. There's no way it's getting $1. You don't have the volume to take it to $1. I mean, I say that, but, nobody knows. Shares rose 6.56% to 44 in pre-market trading after climbing 25% on Thursday. Mullen recently announced the iGo commercial urban delivery EV has arrived Europe with sample vehicles now en route to Newgate Motor Group in Ireland. Yeah, and here's WWE. Gained 9.7% in pre-market trading on the news that company could be exploring a potential sale. The Wall Street Journal reported that former chief Vince McMahon plans to return to the company. What's TKC? In pre-market, after dropping 11% on Thursday, recently selected the company to deploy a 5G-ready private wireless network. Costco's at $4.81. That's awesome. Did they expire today, Emmett? See, I don't know options. I got to learn options because I think, you guys that know options and can read those, hey, somebody just, the unusual options dudes with the ponytails, those douchebags that are no longer on CNBC because they led everybody wrong in Voyager. And they should be in jail just like SBF is. Let's see. 4 stocks today. Term. 1/6/23 market update. BTU, UNH, Costco, RBLX. Or watch on YouTube. He's not. He's not Madoff's age. So I don't think he gets life in prison. He's not. I think he gets 25. He's 50 when he comes out. And he's restricted from doing anything in the crypto space, or being on the board of a bank, or being on the board of any Fortune 500 company, or things of that sort. That's my take on it. But I don't think he gets completely off, Brandon. I think even all those connections, there's too much public interest in holding him and that fucking bitch. God, did you guys see that woman who was in charge? The leverage that she had. The leverage was crazy that she had. I'm going to, where's my, episodes. I'm going to put this, okay, copy, paste, and we're going to we're gonna have to put in $signs in all these so that I don't have to do it. I should be doing this in my notes. I don't know why I'm not. Yeah, that Harry Potter girl. They charge him with security stuff, and I think he pleads down to 25 years. I don't think they're offering him the cush like they offered that woman and the guy of 15 years, 10 years. I think they're, honestly, unless there's some type of other information that they have, they're just as responsible. BTU, UNH, Costco, Roblox. Okay. We're going to take these and publish now. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, Caroline Ellison. She really is. Honest to God, she's just a... I mean, I think I was on air yesterday, or I posted this on... I get nervous if I have too much credit card debt. She had billions and billions of dollars in leverage. Cooper, man. Hey, Cooper, you got to do me a favor. 5 minutes. Take a listen on Spotify. Since you're an audio guy, take a listen on Spotify. I think it sounds much better. I played with the GarageBand settings over the past week or two, and I think the actual quality of the episodes sound better. It still doesn't sound as good as I want it to be, but I'm not willing to spend the money on an SMB microphone, the Shure SMB 147, whatever it's called, the really good microphone with the MIDI plug-in into the computer. Because I just use a Blue Yeti. It's fine. I mean, yeah, I think it sounds okay. I don't think it sounds as good on YouTube, but that's because I have to play with the OBS settings. I think that once I get some time, if I get unlazy, I'll play with the OBS settings because I just have standard EQ on OBS. Yeah, it was horrible. I mean, she's just a bad human. Mike's right. She's just not a good human. Just like these here. And did I show you guys there was a person yesterday that I found on YouTube who's charging, and he's got like 15,000 subscribers. I just don't like people who take advantage of others. And I'm probably the complete opposite of most of these people where I don't want to make money at this. I make some money, but you ain't gonna make a living doing this. I like to help. The payment I receive is the knowledge that you guys are learning. And there are quite a few people I've helped learn. So that's where I'm happy. And let this over. And let's do some TQQQ, SQQQ, SOXL, SOXS, SPY, I know is going to be up there, SPRD. Is NEO coming down? Yeah, NEO's coming down too. AMD. XPEV, LabU, QQQ, SPXU, S, UVixie, SVixie, Ford, Microsoft. I don't know if I had that. XLF. XLF is getting traded, and it's up. It's quite a bit. 1%. TSLL. That has made its way to the top trades on Fidelity Active Trader Pro. Okay, we're just going to tweet out that. Yeah, Cooper, let me know your thoughts. I should follow her. Oddly Terrifying, I'll follow as well. Here. Let's see. We'll go home. Trending I-285. And Dominic Sue. Why am I clicking on him? Hey, it's Dominic Sue. I don't like the guy. He's got too many. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think he's got a big heart, but I do think he has CTE and he has anger issues. But what's he asking for his birthday? I bet it's to donate somewhere. I think he's gotten Brandon, I know you support it. Nah, thank you. I appreciate it. Every now and then I get supporters. I've got a bunch up there. I don't, it's funny. It's funny you say that because I don't shout out to supporters and stuff as much as I should, and I don't give you guys a lot of extras for the support. So I'm certainly incredibly thankful that you guys support. I'm not going anywhere. I'll still do this stuff. I do have, I think it's 16 jobs this year that I'm lined up for. So you're going to miss me for maybe a few weeks. But as long as you subscribe to TrendSpider, and that's my goal is, listen, when I'm on vacation, you guys can scan this stuff. You guys can find your own tools. And what I might do is, hey, supporters, I promise you when I'm on vacation, if you have TrendSpider and you're a supporter of the podcast, boom, you tell me what you want and I'll do an episode no matter how much I have to stay up late or, do it for you individually kind of thing. And that's maybe what I do, but I don't know. 16 vehicle crash on 285 this morning. 5 people were hurt and taken to the hospital. Oh, a 3-year-old. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, God. This is right where I live, guys. It's funny because yesterday, you guys will like this one. Yesterday, I'm gonna go back to Active Trader Pro so we can look at Mullen, because we're all rooting for you, Emmett. But yesterday, I'm out on my walk, and I'm walking down to the vegan place where I go to get lunch every now and then. I don't live in downtown Atlanta. I live in a place called Smyrna. And it's kind of like close to the Brave Stadium. I think I'm 3 or 4 miles away from the Brave Stadium. And so I walk down to this vegan place called Kale Me Crazy for lunch every now and then. I love their stuff. So I'll walk down there, and I was thinking, God, this might be a good thing. There was I think a Ricky video that I saw, a day in the life of a millionaire. And the dude's like, in front of this enormous house, going to his private plane or something. And let me see. Where's my YouTube? I'm going to get out of this stuff. There's my YouTube. Let me bring you guys. Well, let me look real quick if I can find it. Here, I'll show you what I watch. I'm currently watching myself because I watch on my iPad over here. Bullish Apple. I watch this girl. This girl's got 200,000 subscribers. And I couldn't figure out why. And I still can't figure out why. This is an amazing electric motorcycle that's just launching. It's in pre-launch. And I think it was a couple $1,000 to put your name on a waiting list. I may actually do it. This fantastic episode of My First Millions. These guys are great. If you don't subscribe to them, do it. These guys, I watched them. They were talking more about fantasy football. The crazy thing is, it got 16,000 views. I couldn't believe there were that many people live watching them, but I guess they go on the close of the market. How to buy treasury bills on Fidelity, how to buy a bond on Fidelity, just looking at that to see if I was right. How to pay zero taxes on capital gains. It's legal. Dude, this dude is just, he's got 500,000 views. But whatever. Warrior Trading, this guy's just, hey, look at what I did. I put $500,000 in a trade and I made $1,000. Well, douche. Nobody's putting a $500,000. He's trading on margin. And he makes all his money through courses. All of his money. I don't even think I clicked on that. The Algorithm Explained. This guy's kind of got some crazy stuff. GDXJ. This is the guy that I looked at yesterday, where I was like, okay, he's got so many, 240 views on this GDX. He's got 15, 20,000 subscribers. I'm like, why am I at 300? Yeah, $35,000 J trading to $1 million. He's got 1.8 thousand views. He made no sense whatsoever, by the way. This, I think, I watched 2 seconds of this. You can see my watch history. An online bully told me this. This was actually a pretty good thing. Live trading, $15,000 in profits. This was from a while ago. So she's actually pretty good. She's got an accent, sometimes a little bit difficult to listen to, but if you're going to follow somebody on YouTube, Humbled Trader, she's actually fantastic. She's got a great free journal when you want to journal your stock trades. Fantastic. This dude, again, 600%. Yeah, whatever. This is funny. This is the if you guys don't know, Withings is a personal device, and this is the new thing at the Vegas tech show. It's put it in your toilet and it analyzes your pee. I think it's $400. That's my video on Verizon and AT&T, which, by the way, if we go and look at Verizon, look at Verizon. What did I tell you? Thanks, Larry. I appreciate it. I don't want to. I don't. Let me put it this way. I don't complain that I think I should be more popular. I complain that I don't understand how people find me versus how people find other people and find value in those other people. But look at this Verizon chart. I need to update this on a short. Look at that. 37, you're at 42 right now. That's 20%. Mike, you don't bother me. Hit me up though. I'm waiting for TrendSpider to be able to allow us to share this. They haven't allowed it to share yet. It's the one thing that they don't allow to share. And I told the CEO, Dan, the other day when I was texting with him, I just don't understand why. And he's like, well, it's a lot more complicated than you think. I said, okay. By the way, oof. Did the market just turn up? Yeah, the market turned way up. Dude, 41.30. I think you got 40. Here's Verizon. Don't be upset. I think you're covering this gap at 41 to 45. And here's the thing. While you're at 41, you get a 6% dividend coming up next week. That's coming up on the Fire podcast, by the way, Brandon. This week, I have a note. What did I put my note down for? Episode 2, costs and expenses, how to track, what you can cut, and is there a way for you to increase your income? Because the Fire podcast this week is going to focus on cutting expenses is way easier than increasing your income. Because increasing your income for people is typically pretty difficult. But there's ways to increase your income, like selling stuff, blah, 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 the whole thing. But typically increasing income is a lot harder than just cutting your expenses. So you want to make sure that you go over your expenses. In the first episode, I said, get a budgeting software like Mint or Personal Capital, and make sure you set that up. So the second episode, we're going to focus on costs and expenses. And then I'm going to pump up visible service, phone service. Yeah, I'm cheap. I am cheap. That $2 library card was going to eat into my. I have a good story for you. So, it was me, my friend Scott, and my friend Steve, and we were in Colorado. And Steve is the guy who developed the algorithm with me. And we were hiking. I think had just gotten back from hiking Grays and Torreys, which are 2 14ers. And it was, I think it was a Wednesday or Thursday, and Dairy Queen had a $1 cone special at this time. And so we went into Dairy Queen, and I said, I want the $1 cone. Do you have chocolate ice cream? He said, yeah, but the $1 cone was yesterday. And I said, oh, okay, I'll just take a chocolate cone. And I think it was like $1. I think it was like $2, $2.50, $3, somewhere in that neighborhood for the large chocolate cone. It was still pretty cheap. It wasn't like super expensive or anything. Might have been $5, but it's a chocolate cone. But I remember Steve is very well off, kind of like I am, probably a little bit better than I am, even though the both of us have fears of we're going to not have enough later in life. And so Steve said, fuck that, I'm not getting a cone. And Scott and I were like, what? And we were like, we just hiked, just got through like 4,000 calories, burned a shit ton of calories doing these 2 14ers. I needed something in me. I don't think we had eaten, so we went right to Dairy Queen. And then we were going to go out to eat, and I was like, aren't you hungry? He's like, yeah, but I thought it was $1. So we always kill Steve on that. But yeah, look at AT&T. I mean, Verizon. Shit. I'm pissed that I didn't get into Verizon. I should have done Verizon. AT&T broke out from this triangle, the ascending triangle. So, show. ARDX, I'll look at it. Yeah. I mean, point strategies. Here's my take on point strategies. They are super, super good. I love using point strategies. I just never, if I can find a cheaper price, I'm just going with the cheapest price instead of a point strategy. So, but let me look at AT&T. I mean, 1825 and now you're at 1974. Still think Verizon's a better one. Visa. Just saw this one cross up. I said to get in at 206 or at 216. Just that gap bothers me. So, in the core portfolio, we've got most things up 1% to 3%. Google is down. CrowdStrike, Palo Alto is down. Roblox is down. Tesla is down. And that's it. UNH, by the way, is trading at 489. We're pulling for you, Emmett. United Healthcare. I haven't put in my order, but I think I'm going to put it in for 487. Let's see. ARDX. They're not making money. It's flying. But James, here's my issue, okay? 5 days. Let's just take 5 days. Let's take Verizon for 5 days. Now, this isn't typical. These 5 days since December 22nd. 37.68 to 42. Okay? It's a very safe dividend player. You've got what's 42 minus 37?
It's 5.
What's 5 divided by 37?
It's approximately 0.1.
So you got 13%. What are you crying for? Come here. Daisy. You want to come here? Okay. Wait. Do you have to go out? No? You just want to cry? Come here. Come here. Okay. Okay. Dog's crying. Sorry. Gotta hug the dog. I gotta hug the dog. You want to say hi? Go. Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's out there? No, I know. Penny's gonna go protect us. The other one's gonna go protect us. Okay, come here. I'll hug you too. I know. Crackhead. You're a good girl. I gotta clean your eyes. We're gonna give you a bath. Once I get off of YouTube, I'm gonna give you a bath. I'm gonna give you a bath when I get off here. Go play with your sister. So here's my take. So Verizon, 13% gain since December 22nd. Let's look at ARDX. We'll go to December 22nd, and you are trading at 224. What's 288 minus 224?
That would be 64.
What's 64 divided by 224?
It's approximately
28%. So you're taking a chance, and you've been rewarded, mind you. 28. You're making all that percentage in the same amount. But, which one would you rather, if you were to go down, which one would you rather hold, Verizon or RDX? That's kind of my point, is you need to find the companies that are good, because in this market, you could get killed. Do you have to go out? I don't think you have to go out. What do you want? Ugh. Okay, hold on. Yeah, and you're getting a 6% dividend on that one too. James, I just, my theory on this is that you can make a lot more money by buying and holding good companies over the years rather than trading these 20 and 30% gains. But, again, the 20 and 30% gains, like you said, if they're in your 10% portfolio. Do you have to go out? Is that what you want? Hold on. What are you crying about? Did it go under? There's nothing under there. There's nothing under there. It's over there. Oh, man. This is all you wanted? Okay. There you go. Dog threw the ball in the corner and wanted me to throw it. That's all she wanted. You talking ARDX, the candle? Let's see. I'm going to go today on a 5-minute candle. It's outside the Bollinger Band. You got 1 more minute left in this candle. Your high is 290 and you're at the high. You still got confirmation, so I have no doubt you're still going higher. I mean, you're up 5%. My guess is you get to, let me see. God, are you at 52 weeks highs on this one? Your 52-week high is 290. But, in November, Piper Sandler said this is an $8 stock. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. You're at 291. You have 11 million shares trading in the 10-day volume versus 8 million. It's a micro cap, so depending on how many shares you have, James, just be careful because sometimes you get shut out in those micro caps. And I should be building my watch list. GBTC is one. You know what I didn't look at? I didn't look at Mara on the podcast. Oh, ARDX, the Tom one? You didn't tell me that. Now I know you're crazy. Morning, Joe. Tom's nuts. Tom's fun, though. But Tom is nuts. By the way, portfolio check. Since I sold out of a bunch of positions, I'm probably not doing as well as the indices. Wow. I'm up 1.27. Yeah, I'm underperforming the market big. I'm underperforming. Ugh, I got to rebalance. I totally have to rebalance. Okay. um, that's awesome. That's such good news. Thanks for that news, Mike. Okay. Question from a friend. Should I sell Netflix, Nvidia, Tencent, and Apple? Or I'm sorry. Sell Netflix, Nvidia, and Tencent and buy more Apple. No. Um, I do like Apple a lot, but let's look at Nvidia. Nvidia, I think, is a $160 stock. Um, Tencent is TCEHY. And Tencent, boy, that's gappy. Is TCHY. $26. Apple at 125. Um, If we're going into recession and still have room to go down, I like my chances with Apple. Didn't it beat the market in 2022? Here, let's go and look at Apple. We'll look at Apple. Here's Tencent, by the way. This is my friend's Tencent, and I just told her. What did I reply back? Let me see. I should send her the link to watch this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share. And we'll copy. Here's Tencent, by the way. This is my friend's Tencent, and I just told her. What did I reply back? And then I'm gonna. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna text her Tube going over Apple now. And I'll start. Okay, I'm going to go over Apple, but I'm waiting for my friend to join so she can see it. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, Brandon, I think you're right with Apple. Joe, I'll go over it kind of long term. She's about to jump on a call. Okay, we're going to go over Apple. Tencent's a good, look at Tencent. God, by the way, you've doubled your freaking money almost from the low. But here's Apple. We're going to go long term because you'll see, I think weekly might get me back there. Yeah. So there have been several times where Apple has taken a dip. And this 2016, don't even worry about it. It touched the 200-day, but you can see the markets were, Apple was kind of in that realm of, this was when I believe Steve Jobs was passing away and it just didn't do anything. Tim Cook was kind of taking the helm. I forget when he passed away. I think it was 2016. But here is the 2000. Let's go back to 2008 so we can see the housing crisis. I think I might have to do monthly. Nope, we might be able to get back there. No, it won't pull back that far in a weekly. Let's go back to a monthly. Because I think you're right, Joe, on Apple. But what we're going to do, we're going to pull out the earnings and dividends. I got my splits in there. So these are your splits, just so you know the catalysts on splits. But here's 2008, 2009. You can see it came from $5 down to $3. You were essentially cut in half during the housing crisis. And you touched the 50-day. Then you kind of go up here and you go to 2013. This was probably about when Steve Jobs was passing away or something. One of these two. I don't exactly know. But then you get to 2019, where 2018, you kind of just went down and you touched the 50-day. You're not quite touching the 50-day. The 50-day is at 112. So in my mind at 127, you're not killing yourself. You're not killing yourself at all. Because if you get to 112 and it touches that 50-day, I think you're using that 50-day as support. And again, this is a monthly chart. So it's not something that's crazy. If we go to the weekly, then you're kind of looking at, okay, we're closing in on the 200-day. The last time we closed in on the 200-day was 2018. This was the really bad one where they cut rates and Apple's earnings, the PE was super high. And so when they started increasing rates, Janet Yellen did, the market just took a tumble. And so that's when we went down there. This is COVID. Didn't touch the 200-day. You're coming close to this 200-day right at about 115. That's why I think that 110 to 115 is kind of your break-even point on this one. But look at that MACD. It's still moving down. So at 127, you're not killing yourself, but you're not timing it. That's why I told her, I said, hey, if you got a couple $1,000s in cash, buy a couple $100 worth of Apple. It's not gonna hurt you. It's a $150 stock. You can clearly see right about 150. This white line, I think that's the VWAP. It's at 150. Pull this back. Let's pull it back to the lows here. See, volume levels don't do much, but most people are still holding from this area. And the biggest volume is up here. And again, that's 110. If we break 111, 83's in target. And this, I went over this before. This worries me a little bit. Not much, just worries me a little bit. Cleveland Cliffs is up 5% today, by the way. Oxy's up 3. Pepsi's up 2. Qualcomm's up 2. Snowflake's up 2. Target's up 3. VOO is up 1.62. Walmart's up 2.2. Exxon's up 2.5. I think you're right, Brandon. I think those earnings, I think the earnings do kind of get in the way. And it's 11 o'clock. My friend Eric, it's my annual I want to cancel Sirius XM. No. We can find a package for you. He says, we're in Act 1, Scene 1. Because if you ever have dealt with Sirius XM, it is totally. So VWAP stands for Volume Weighted Average Price. And essentially what it does is it takes, of all the shares that have purchased, I think it might be tied to this. Let me see. Is it tied to this? Yeah. It's tied to this volume lever. And all it says is if I move the volume level to the March 2020 lows, of all the people who have bought and are still holding from that March 23rd, 2020, what's the average price? And it's 129. Spotify is better than what? Oh, Sirius XM? Oh, yeah. Yeah. So full disclosure, since I was, and here's the story that happened. So I was a Howard Stern super fan from the age of probably 14 or 15. And he used to be on NBC, and then he moved to K-Rock in the afternoons in New York. And so I used to have my Walkman. This is how old I am. Back in the 80s, I had my little portable radio with the headphones on, and I would listen to Howard Stern. And I had Spanish class in the afternoon. And I would sit with a guy named Chris McQuarrie. And the Spanish teacher, Mr. Shuey, said to myself and Chris, you two are troublemakers. I know your story. I don't care that you two don't want to participate in class. Just please don't interrupt the class, and we'll be fine, and I'll pass you. And so I said, okay, I won't interrupt the class. And I was never an interrupter, but sometimes Chris would make me laugh so much that I would, tend to interrupt the class just with my laughter, and it would be distracting for a teacher. And I have a lot more respect for teachers now than I did back then. But so essentially I would listen to Howard Stern. And Chris would pass me these stories. He was a writer, and he would always pass me these stories. And again, we were in Spanish class, which is part of this story. But Chris went on to pass me this story, and I said, yeah, it's good. It's good. Pass me the story, pass me a piece of paper. I passed it back to him, and it just stuck in my head, and I said, yeah, that was really good. It was maybe 6 paragraphs, 1 handwritten page, front and back. It wasn't like a huge story or anything. That turned out, I still believe that turned out to be the basis for the movie The Usual Suspects, which Chris won an Oscar for. So rather than be productive, I was listening to Howard Stern, and Chris was writing movie scripts. So that's one of my Forrest Gump stories. But we are super fans, myself, Jeff, and Eric, who are on this group chat, and they are still Sirius XM subscribers. When Howard started doing his show from the basement and wasn't out, I lost interest. And I still, the second he doesn't do Robin's News, I'm out. The best segment on that show, 100%, was Robin's News. Robin got sick. They were doing it from home. They weren't doing the news because the news was too upsetting to most people during the pandemic. And there wasn't much else to report on, and it was the same show. So I let my mind slip. Eric and Jeff still have theirs. And if you do listen on an app called TuneIn, on TuneIn, there is let me see if I have it on my phone. TuneIn Radio. There is a library favorites. There is a channel called Stern Nation. Let me see if I can copy it in here. I'm getting an ad now from Planet Fitness. Your energy, yeah. I did not go to school in West Hollywood. I went to school in Princeton Junction, New Jersey. But let's see here. Yeah. So this Stern Nation, I'm going to put it in the chat. If you guys are Howard Stern fans, it did. What the hell? Yeah. Just type in Stern Nation on TuneIn, and you can listen. It's all the old school stuff. And I did not go in West Hollywood. I went to school with quite a few people who became famous. Chris is one of the people. Probably the most famous was Ethan Hawke. I went to school with him. And a guy named Jim Murphy, who is the lead singer for LCD Sound Systems, who sold out. And I didn't even know he was fucking famous, but he sold out Madison Square Garden like 20 nights in a row. So I did not grow up I would say I grew up in a middle class household. At the time, I thought we were lower middle class, but I think we were middle class. My parents later in life got some money, but I don't think I was extra privileged. I wore tough skins from Sears throughout my childhood. So, but there's my take on Apple. Okay, it's 11:09. I am going to take off now. You guys have a great weekend. Again, if you hit me up, I think there were a couple of people. Mike, I think you wanted to be nice over the holidays and not hit me up. Usual Suspects is a fantastic movie, other than fucking Kevin Spacey being in it. And I went to, full disclosure, I went to high school with Bryan Singer, who actually directed that movie as well, who... Trouble with the Law. You can do your research on that. Brian and I were not as close as Chris and I. Chris lived right around the corner from me. We were in Cub Scouts together. Chris was awesome. And Chris still is. I mean, I think he's Tom Cruise's like number one writer/director. Chris was by far, and I'm talking by far, the most creative, genius person I've ever known. Still to this day. He is amazing. Chris is, I touched base with him a couple of times since he's become famous. Not a lot. I know he knows who I am. Like if we were walking on the street together, I don't think he'd recognize me or I'd recognize him because it's been so long. But if I said, "Hey, Chris, it's Gary from grade school," "Oh, hey man, what's going on?" He's got kids now. He's become super, super successful. And it's not, it's funny because I think I was, I had talked to him during one of his Reddit Ask Me Anything kind of things. And it was interesting because there were a lot of people who kind of just, hey, you've had it so easy because you got lucky with writing a script and blah, blah, blah. There is a crazy, crazy amount of work that this guy did to constantly become better at his craft. And I can't tell you, it is not luck. Ethan Hawke. People think that, hey, it's just, we got dogs that were out. Those are the dogs from They Escaped. Oh no. I got to go out and get these dogs. Thanks, Brandon. I kill it most days, don't I? Hey, what's up? Okay. I'm out. There's dogs outside. I think they escaped from their fence. So let me go save them. I will talk to you guys Monday. See ya. I will do the episode for Fire this weekend.